Just bring up YouTube and then we're off. Hello and welcome to the Super Rugby final preview. Hi, I'm Paul, the guy behind DrivingMaul, your best place for rugby predictions and opinion. And thank you for joining me. Yes, we have finally reached the big game of Super Rugby. We've been waiting for this one for a long time. 18 rounds, whatever it is, 16 games of the regular season have gone by, and we've got past the sort of the quarterfinals and semi-finals as well. So good evening to those of you joining us live. Hi Jack, hi Andre, hi Chris, hi the rest of you. Thank you for joining us. Questions, comments in the chat. Let's make it an interactive kind of thing. So we have got the two squads. Now, that's one of the good things actually about this being in New Zealand is we don't have to wait till midnight to know all of the players that have been named. So if we run through the Crusaders first, and then we'll have a look at the Lions after that. Looking at the Crusaders, Moody, Taylor, Franks across the front row, All Blacks front row. Scott Barrett, Sam Whitelock in the engine room. Again, All Blacks, what a surprise. Across the in the Lucies, Bidwell Curtis, Todd Reed. So Bidwell Curtis, I guess the first guy there of the of this lineup, who you go say not first choice, with gone blank. Jordan Tafua with his fractured arm from last weekend. So yeah, Jordan, good luck with the recovery. Hi Bailey in the chat on Facebook. Do you really think the Lions have a chance against basically an All Black team? Yeah, we'll get to that as part of the show. I'm just running through the teams to first off with. So Bidwell Curtis, probably the first guy there that's not a first choice Crusader in the lineup. I say Todd and Reed joining him in that loose trio. We then have Hall at 9, Richard Moanga at 10. Into the back line, Crotty and Goodhue in the centres, Bridge, Tamanavalu and Havali making up the back three, or the outside backs. And one of the kind of points that Bailey makes there is this is basically an All Blacks team. Now, is it a first choice All Blacks team? No, it's not. Let's be honest. But apart from Bidwell Curtis and George Bridge, I think everybody else in this side, in the starting 15, have been capped by the All Blacks. Actually, question mark around Goodhue. I can't remember if he's been capped or whether he's just been in the squad or the wider training squad, but definitely has been there or thereabouts. We then, if we look at the reserves bench, Anderson Heather there in the reserves, again replacing Siabat Aga, who fractured his arm last weekend. Sorry about the pronunciation. Yeah, that's awful by me, and I do need to go get some help with that. Tim Perry, Ala Alatoa there. A bit of a surprise that we've not. I've just gone blank. But the most capped Super Rugby player of all time is missing there, isn't he? Looking at that. Then we've also got Luke Romano, who All Black. Pete Samu, obviously called up the Wallabies. Drummond, Hunt, and Braden Enor on the bench. And no Crotty. I'm surprised that he's missing from the bench there. I don't know if he was injured last weekend or not, because obviously this would have been his last Super Rugby game of his career. So very surprised to see that he's not on the bench for this game. So yes, probably two players or three players short. We've got Bedwell Curtis, Byron Hall, and George Bridge. Probably the only ones there that are not really sort of All Blacks. Missing Crockett, not Crotty. Sorry, Jack. Yes, Crockett. No Crockett. Sorry. For those of you who are on Twitter, you'll have known I just said beforehand. Rule 102 of social media: don't do live streaming when you've had a few beers. Yep, I'm breaking that rule. Do as I say, not as I do. So I've had a few beers tonight. Catching up. Been a bit of an awful week at work. So anyway, in there, no Crotty on the no Crockett on the bench, which is a bit of a surprise that that he is there. And yeah, so three players there that haven't really been All Blacks in that starting 15: Bedwell Curtis, Byron Hall, and George Bridge. All the others there or thereabouts in the All Blacks. That's a very strong team. If we go over and have a look at the Lions, let's just say the Lions website is not quite as user friendly, but so Van Ruin, Malcolm Marks, Dreyer in that front row, Uri, Mostert in the engine room, Quagga Smith, Erasmus, Whiteley in the Lucies. That's a very strong pack, but as I say, they're coming up against a pack that's got 7 All Blacks capped in them, so that's going to be a mighty battle. And where this game is going to be won. We'll come back to that in a second. At 9, Cronje, Yankees in sort of going to be sort of moving them around the park. In the centres, Voster, Mapoe, Dante, Combrink, and Coetzee in the Lucies, which is, in all honesty, I've seen 2 different versions actually. I've seen one version of this lineup with Soksan on the wing and Dante on the bench, but on a Lions tweet. But looking at it on the website, they've got Dante starting and Soksan on the bench. So it'll be interesting to see come game day which way round they go. Obviously, Dante got a bit of an injury at half time during the semi-finals, so hopefully he's fully recovered from that. Moving to the bench, Forey, Smith, Yonker at the front row, Damani covering the locks, Schumann for the Lucies. Sorry, I've got this right. They've got too many players mentioned. They've got 25 down here, so obviously they're going to trim this squad come the match day. Smith, Soskan, Mintz, Brink, and Sean Reynolds. They've got 25 players there. Obviously, a couple of travelling reserves as well. So, but yeah, the battle is going to be in that front 8, and who gives their halfback combination the best ride. We've known in the past that Yankees doesn't like being under pressure. Which remember the game against the Hurricanes 2 years ago in Wellington. He had one of his not so good games where they managed to get to him, and so if it's going to come down to how those front 8s all manage to play against who gives the best ride of that. Some of the points I made during my predictions video was that, let's be honest, the Lions love a 5 metre line out and then a drive out maul. A lot of teams do, but they are one of the experts at it. In the semi-finals, the Crusaders only gave up 5 penalties all game. Compare that to the Waratahs, who the Lions were playing, and the Waratahs gave up 15 penalties. So one of the things that the Crusaders will be trying to do in this game is starving the Lions of that line-out maul opportunity by giving up as few penalties as possible. And so one of the things that the Lions are going to have to do is try and put as much pressure onto this Crusaders side to try and get those penalty opportunities, to give them those scoring opportunities. That's going to be a big part of this game. We had a big difference in the 2 games, in the 2 semi-finals. In the Crusaders versus Hurricanes game, they both kicked for territory to a certain degree. In the Lions versus the Tars game, there was much more about having possession and using that for scoring points. So which way are these 2 sides going to go when it comes to the final? Are we going to find the Crusaders kicking the ball to get territory and the Lions trying to run it out their own half? If they do that, their execution is going to have to be spot on. If they make mistakes, they turn over the ball, the Crusaders will take full advantage of that. So one of the things that we're going to have to see is either a really good kicking game from Yankees or a absolutely error-free game as far as handling errors and cleaning out the breakdown from this Lions side. One of the interesting tweets we've had midweek is comparing these 2 sides defensively, and they've shown that both sides have a similar tackling percentage. That's true, but the whole point of rugby and the whole point of winning a game is scoring more points than your opposition. And so defence, when it comes down to it, is how many points do you concede? And whilst both these sides have got equal tackling percentages, or very similar tackling percentages across the season, the Crusaders have let in a lot less points than the Lions. I can't remember exactly what the numbers were, but it's like 100 or less across the whole season. And that shows, and that's what the whole point of defence. The whole point of defence is around how many points you give up, not about tackling percentages, gain line percentages, all this kind of stuff. At the end of the day, it's about points. So that shows that we're talking about, that shows that the scramble defence and those and positional play of the Crusaders has been better than the Lions. Another point that someone brought up was that the discipline of the Lions was better than the Crusaders when it came to yellow cards. And again, do you want a player to give up a yellow card, a penalty and a yellow card, or do you want a player to give up 7 points? It comes down to when and how you give those up. So if it comes down to points again, it's the fact that the Crusaders have given up less points during the season defensively. So that's going to be a big thing for this game. Can the Lions put on enough pressure that the Crusaders players think they have to give up penalties, that they get yellow carded, or will the Crusaders feel comfortable enough that they don't have to risk that yellow card, they don't have to try for that turnover, and so that's going to be a big thing to it. A couple of things. Let's have a quick visit the chat there. Barca Pundit: if the Lions win the final, it will have been the biggest upset in history of Super Rugby finals. I would have thought. Trying to run through that, I can't think of. I'm not sure it's going to be the biggest upset of Super Rugby finals. Remember, this is the third year in a row that the Lions have made the finals. They're not a poor team. They are a very good side. Sure, they've been inconsistent this year compared to previous years. We can look at the Blues loss at home. We can look at only beating the Sunwolves by 2 points and those sort of things. But this is still a very good side in the Lions. They haven't become bad overnight. They've still topped the Africa Conference. They've still made the final deservedly. They are a very strong side. So we shouldn't be saying this is the biggest upset of all time kind of thing. If they win it, then I'm not so sure. They are a good side, even if they haven't been playing to their best or been consistently their best rather than playing to their best. Dante's individual try when the game was in the balance against the Tars shows that they do have game breakers in there. They really can in their backs. They have one of the best packs in the tournament. We've probably got the two best packs in the tournament going up against each other. It will be a mighty battle up front, and it's going to come down to the discipline, the number of penalties, how much set piece they give each other around that. So Jack make the point that yes, the Lions did lose the Blues and the Reds, but that's around their inconsistency rather than about how good they can be. And that's what it's going to come down to this final, is to, do we see the best Lions side or do we see a down day on the Lions? Now, to be fair to the Lions, they've had 2 days travel getting here. They could have improved that definitely. And let's be honest, the Crusaders in this game are overwhelming favourites. Do the Lions have a chance? Yes, they do, but it's a slim chance. The Crusaders lost 2 games all season, away to the Hurricanes, away to the Highlanders. They've not lost at home under Scotty Robinson. So, will they lose at home this weekend? Most probably not. Let's be honest. I'm going Crusaders by 10, but I've seen Crusaders by 30, Crusaders by 21, Crusaders by 7. I think the only person that I've seen go the Lions, I've not checked out his video, but please do, Unbiased Rugby, who is a Bull supporter in South Africa. I know his video was entitled the Lions winning. So I'm going to go away and have a watch of his video as to why he thinks the Lions are going to win. But at the end of the day, you've got to say that the Crusaders are overwhelming favourites in this game. Peter Rousseau in Facebook chat's kind of said, yeah, Crusaders by plenty. And I say that is the overwhelming opinion. But if it was going to be the overwhelming opinion, if that's what it was going to be, then why would anyone watch on Saturday. We watch because you never know. On the day, another team can win. And you've got to say that the Lions have got a 10, 20% chance in, at least 20% chance in this game over the Crusaders. They do have very decent players in their backs. I've talked about Dante. I already mentioned him. Combrink, obviously Springbok, and Coetzee. They've got good back three that can really counterattack and are quality. With Voster and Mapoe, we've got a player in Voster, someone who has ousted Van Rensburg and made him go overseas because he's a better player. So we've got, again, a very good centre combination. In fact, you look through this entire side, and you've got quality players in all positions. And we do the same thing for the Crusaders as well, quality players in all positions. This is this is really what we want to see in a final. We want to see two quality sides going head-to-head, bashing it up. Probably the two strongest packs in the competition going head-to-head, looking at providing that platform. Everyone has been saying how wonderful and how great Mo'unga's been playing. Now, if he doesn't get the platform and the armchair ride that his pack has been giving him all season, will he be quite as composed? Will he be able to pull off the same decisions? Will he be as calm? It's going to see. Now, can the Lions put that Crusaders pack on the back foot? We don't know yet. But that's where this game will probably be won and lost. Is about that. It's going to be two pieces. One is about how the packs face up against each other, and what gain line and how easy or hard a ride do they give their halfback combinations. And number two is how clinical are these teams when they get their opportunities, because these opportunities I don't expect both sides to have 15 opportunities to score tries. I think it's going to be a lot less than that. And I think it's going to come down to how clinical are they. Now, the Lions have been mixed in their clinical play. The Crusaders have been clinical all year. Can they continue that under the pressure cooker of the final? Sure, they are reigning champions. Sure, there's lots of All Blacks in there who have played pressure games. So you think they would do? You think they could? But it's going to be interesting actually watching the game on Saturday night to see if they do it. We know they can. We know the Lions can as well, just not quite as consistently as the Crusaders, and that's what it's going to come down to. Let's be honest, the schedule has been very favourable for the Crusaders since the June window. They've had a bye, and then 2 home games in the regular season, followed by home games in the quarter and semi-finals. The Lions didn't get that bye. They had to play 3 games. Admittedly, they were all in South Africa, so whilst they did have away games, they didn't have to travel that far. And this was their first trip overseas since the June window. But it has taken them a couple of days to travel over here. I am really looking forward to this game. It should be a cracker. So do join me. I will be live straight after the game, giving post-match reaction. As I say, I've gone Crusaders by 10, but I do think that this one, that it will be that we have got two of the best teams, if not the 2 best teams in the competition in the final again. So as much as there's been criticism of the format, we still end up with a cracking final, and I'm really looking forward to it. On a side note, I'm off down to Harawa in the Taranaki for another Loggerwood challenge game. So if you're down there, do say hello. It's going to be really exciting for me. It's the first time I've ever had a press pass, so hopefully I'll be able to get some interviews with either players or coaches before or after this game. So do check out my Periscope for doing it live, and I'll try and put recordings out on Facebook and YouTube as well. It'll all be from just my iPhone, so do try and dial in for those. I'm looking forward to that. And I say, also do join me on Saturday straight after the game for live post-match reaction. Thank you everybody who's joined up in the live chat. Andre, Christian, Jack, and obviously on the YouTube and on the Facebook with Bailey and Peter as well. I'm back at 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday New Zealand time, giving you reviews, the Hash Rugby Chat, the All Blacks edition, and previews as well. Also, if you want to support us, then please just let your friends and your friends know about the show and the channel. You can obviously share, retweet, thumbs up, likes, all of that kind of stuff is all really much appreciated. And if you fancy supporting us financially, then hey, click on the Patreon link. So patreon.com/DrivingMaul, where you can make a monthly donation to the site that helps us with microphones and all our equipment around that kind of stuff, because there is a whole bunch of costs around doing this. It is a labour of love. So please do support us. And I'll be back on Saturday with my post-match review. Thank you, and enjoy whatever rugby you're watching this weekend.